All right. Our next story, plaintiff Chooseco files this lawsuit against Netflix. Who the heck is Chooseco? Well, to find out, turn to page 2. If you don't want to find out, turn to page 411. Chooseco is the company behind Choose Your Own Adventures, and Netflix is, of course, the company behind Bandersnatched, which is a, quote, choose your own adventure style movie or show where every so often while you're watching, you'll get a chance to influence what happens next. The movie progresses somewhat fluidly, and you're given about 10 or 15 seconds every once in a while to choose, do you listen to the music or do you not listen to the music? And then you're like, well, what does that matter? And then, you choose one and then you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that or whatever, because something happens and you want to find out what is it. And then the cool part about Bandersnatch is that they then start playing the choices backwards a little bit. They start walking back in the nest of choices. Do you want to end your viewing experience or do you want to go back and start from this part and make a different decision about whether you do this or do that? It's a really fun experience. You need anywhere from about 2 to 4 hours to get through the whole experience, and it's really cool. And I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but I was watching it with Kaylee over the holiday break, and there was one point at which I grabbed the controller and made a couple decisions that you would never want to make in real life. But of course, it's a choose your own adventure, so I really want to see what did the writers do when we choose the most horrific choices. And I think Kaylee was a bit horrified at my willingness to, do the worst, darkest thing I could think of, when given the choice. So anyway, what in the world's going on between Chooseco and Netflix? Well, it says this is a trademark action for trademark infringement, unfair competition, false designation of origin. Chooseco has federally registered trademarks for Choose Your Own Adventure, and Netflix has no license or authorization to use any of their trademarks. Chooseco's popular and beloved Choose Your Own Adventure brand is a series of interactive books for young adults in which the reader acts as the story's protagonist and makes choices that affect the narrative's plot and outcome. Part of Chooseco's marketing strategy includes appealing to adults now in their 20s, 30s, etc. Netflix released a much-hyped, widely viewed interactive film called Black Mirror Bandersnatch on its digital streaming platform. In the first few minutes of the movie, the protagonist refers to a fictional book on the diegesis. Could someone help me with this word? It's another
diegesis?
One. Yes. What does it mean? As a choose your own adventure book. It is diegesis, a narrative or plot, typically in a movie.
It's okay. A flourishing word.
I like the word. I've never heard it before. Netflix has no license or authorization to use Chooseco's trademark, and upon information and belief, used the mark willfully and intentionally to capitalize on viewers' nostalgia for the original book series from the 1980s and 90s. The film's dark and at times disturbing content dilutes the goodwill. Okay, maybe. Let's scroll through this a little further. Yeah, it's Choose Your Own Adventure. I don't think anybody is disputing that they own a trademark on Choose Your Own Adventure. My first question is going to be, is it a fair use? How did they refer to it in Bandersnatch? Because there is such a thing as trademark fair use, and there is such a thing as a nominative fair use. So it could very well, very easily be a nominative or descriptive fair use to say, I'm making a video game out of a book that's like a Choose Your Own Adventure book. That wouldn't be illegal to say, I don't think. Nobody go out and do that and make me responsible for it, but my initial gut reaction is that just saying we're going to do something, compare this to a Choose Your Own Adventure book. You're allowed to make a comparative use of your competitors' trademarks. So if you make a saddle-shaped baked potato chip that is otherwise not infringing on the Pringles trademark, and you call it, saddle chips, compare to Pringles brand, That's a fair use. You're not saying it's Pringles. You're saying we're comparing it to Pringles. You're allowed to do that. And the question here is, where is Netflix and Bandersnatched with this? Did they say, hey, this is a choose your own adventure game. This Bandersnatch is a choose your own adventure movie, is a choose your own adventure story, is a choose your own adventure. No, I don't think I saw that, but let's, somebody do some searches with me here. We'll go into Firefox here, and we'll go Netflix, Bandersnatch, and then I'm gonna apparently hit the wrong button, and then we'll add this choose your own adventure. No, I don't. Stop doing that. So aside from everybody's being sued, so let's get out of suing. Let's see. Charlie Brooker considers the future of Choose Your Own Adventure. Publisher sues, even though I kept that out, didn't I? What to know about the Netflix Choose Your Own Adventure story? I don't know. So far, I'm not seeing Choose Your Own Adventure on any Netflix anything. Let's add site:netflix.com. No results, including Choose Your Own Adventure. So let's go back to the lawsuit and see if they give any examples. So they give a lot of fluff for Choose Your Own Adventure being a valid trademark. I'm not disputing that at this time. Netflix is popular. Netflix has subscribers. Netflix made Bandersnatch. Bandersnatch viewers made choices. That's not trademarkable. You cannot trademark the functionality of a story or something like that. You can't say, well, we own all Choose Your Own Adventure style stories. I don't have any reason to believe that they could possibly prevent people from writing Choose Your Own Adventure style stories. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to make Lawyer Simulator, and no one would be able to make any branching decision tree stories. It's the trademark. It's if we call it a Choose Your Own Adventure story. Can't do that. That's owned by Chooseco. But what if you meant to say it's like Choose Your Own Adventure stories, or it functions as a Choose Your Own Adventure story, but it's not from Choose Your Own Adventure? That's a tough question. Viewers learn that the protagonist is preparing a meeting to pitch a video game, and he's based the game on a fictional book, is noted to be always flicking forwards and backwards in the book by his father, and this feature is a hallmark of a Choose Your Own Adventure book. And then he responds with, no, it's a Choose Your Own Adventure book. You decide what your character does. They don't like being associated with the dark and mature thing, and they have not granted a license to Netflix, and they want $25 million.
$25 million for calling a fictional book Choose Your Own Adventure?
Whoa.
Yeah. So if that's the sole affiliation with Choose Your Own Adventure, that comes right there on the line of fair use. Like, I don't mean right there over the line and into, I mean, it's going to be a big argument back and forth. Let's kind of analyze this, sideline quarterbacking or post-game hindsight. Let's do trademark fair use. We'll go to Wikipedia here. So trademark fair use is used to distinguish it from copyright fair use. Fair use of trademarks is more limited. Many trademarks are adapted from words or symbols that are common. Apple is using a trademark that is based on an apple. Other trademarks are invented by a mark owner, such as arbitrary and capricious marks like Kodak. Arbitrary and capricious, wow, that's a different standard. Arbitrary or fanciful. Wow. Sad day. I just called the trademark, the fourth level of trademark protection, arbitrary and capricious.
That was a nice slip limit.
I'm becoming Edward Thomas Kennedy.
I I see your law and I override it with my own.
Jeez,
I see your law and I substitute my own.
You have to stop reading these toxic cases. It's really hurting you, like genuinely. Oh, I know what it is. Take your tinfoil hat off, you idiot.
Wait a second. That Chevrolet whatever thing is named for French wear, right?
Yeah.
And your last name is French.
My last name is French.
Confirm?
I am Edward Thomas Kennedy. So arbitrary and fanciful is the fourth level of trademark protection. The best marks or the best protected trademarks are arbitrary or fanciful, as we're talking about here. And so the mark owner would have no common use until introduced by the owner. In other words, Kodak didn't mean anything until somebody said Kodak in connection with business. Courts have recognized that ownership of a trademark or service mark cannot be used to prevent others from using the word or symbol in accord with its plain and ordinary meaning, such as if the trademark is a descriptive word or common symbol, such as pine tree. As a result, the less distinctive and original the mark, the less able the trademark owner will be able to control how it is used. This is one of those marks. Choose Your Own Adventure is a trademark, but it's also a merely descriptive trademark. It deserves only a minimum amount of protection, in my humble opinion, and only protection for use as marketing a book under, or movies or whatever, under the Choose Your Own Adventure brand. Now, does that mean that Chooseco is wrong for filing this lawsuit? I don't think so. It has teeth. It has some merit. However, the infringement was this one line in the entire thing, which does not appear to be part of Netflix's marketing. And so maybe Netflix has to remove that line in the marketing. But is it wrong for you to make a movie or a story or whatever and say, in my story, a character has a book made by Choose Your Own Adventure, even though you don't have permission? Okay, I don't see why it's illegal to at least say that something exists, and they're not saying, this is a story made by Choose Your Own Adventure. However, that's the source identifying function of trademark, is to associate things with a brand. So as soon as it crosses into, we're now associating the source or the Choose Your Own Adventure brand with Bandersnatch, and we're trying to make people believe that Bandersnatch is a movie endorsed by and marketed through Choose Your Own Adventure or something, the closer and closer and further into that we get, yes, the closer and closer we are, and then we become trademark infringers at some point. So so Chooseco is not wrong to enforce their trademark rights. I'm still not clear on whether this is a trademark infringement. How about you, Kurt? What's your gut feeling on this so far?
I don't think one mentioned by one character or using the phrase "Choose Your Own Adventure" qualifies as a trademark infringement. And even if it does, it's nowhere near $25 million.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right that you cannot copyright or trademark or patent the concept of branching choice books, games, movies, or anything. So merely because the character used the phrase "Choose Your Own Adventure," no.
Yeah.
It's a minor lapse at best. We're sorry, we promise never to do it again, is about the relief you're going to get.
Yeah. So there's two kinds of trademark fair use that are recognized here. Nominative fair use, which is by referencing the mark to identify actual goods or services. So if the character was holding an actual Casio printer or Casio watch or something, and they said something about, hey, this watch is made by Casio, or they referred to it as a Casio watch, that would be completely allowed. You're referring to the product by its name. You're not saying this movie is from Casio. You're saying I'm referring to my Casio watch in the story. That's okay. But I'm not sure. Is that what he did? Did he refer to Bandersnatch, the book, as a Choose Your Own Adventure book, as in made by Chooseco? And even if he did, that seems to be a nominative fair use. It would more so have to be that Netflix marketed the movie as a movie from Choose Your Own Adventure, as opposed to a movie that is comparable to a Choose Your Own Adventure book or a book or story by the Choose Your Own Adventure company.
And I think one of the issues here is that the choose your own adventure, because it's more of a descriptive thing, that it's hard to, are they referring to a genre of books or are they referring to the brand of books? And because that brand is so dominant in that genre, that it's almost like they're synonymous, which kind of touches on genericide. I don't think this is genericide, but it's that, when you refer to an entire class of things by a particular brand name.
Right. And so part of this is descriptive fair use, using a descriptive mark in an ordinary descriptive manner to describe a product or service. For example, describing a component within a dehumidifier as honeycomb shaped was a fair use of a registered trademark for honeycomb dehumidifiers. In other words, for a descriptive fair use to arise, the following must be true. Plaintiff owns a mark that is descriptive of its goods and services, so choose your own adventure sort of describes what you're going to expect. You're expecting a book that allows you to choose your own path, choose your own story, choose your own adventure. If plaintiff's mark is suggestive or arbitrary or fanciful, descriptive fair use does not apply. However, this is a descriptive mark, so defendant's use of the mark as a descriptive word or phrase to accurately describe something. If defendant uses the mark as a trademark, a source identifying function, or if the defendant uses it in a suggestive manner, it is not a descriptive fair use. So you can see we're right on the freaking line here. Was the character saying this story comes from the source of the Choose Your Own Adventure books? Or was he saying, I'm making a video game that's similar to Choose Your Own Adventure books? And when does that become such trademark infringement that your company deserves $25 million? I don't know about that part. It sounds like, if anything, they might just need to alter their marketing to not even use the phrase choose your own adventure. But I also think this is a great opportunity to clarify this bit of nominative and descriptive fair use. That's a very interesting case, and I think we're missing a little bit of something here too, because when writing a fictional story, I'm assuming you can put anything you want into it. You could put a reference to something in it, no problem. I can say that a character drives a Ford car. It's different when I then say this story is endorsed by, sponsored by, or otherwise sold by Ford cars. That's a more clear example than when somebody's making a story about a story. So the Choose Your Own Adventure book, Bandersnatched, isn't a real Choose Your Own Adventure book. And so did Netflix make people believe that it was a real story coming from the Chooseco company, and then they marketed it and everybody thought that, hey, this is endorsed by Choose Your Own Adventure, the company? I don't think so. I never got the impression that anybody was out there going, this is a story that's made by Chooseco. I think instead a bunch of people said, hey, we need to grab a tissue, and a bunch of other people said, we need to grab a Kleenex. And Kleenex is all pissed off that their trademark is getting used. Choose Your Own Adventure is all pissed off that people are grabbing Bandersnatched and calling it a Choose Your Own Adventure book. I don't know that Netflix is the one doing that. That seems to be people in media reporting on it, saying this is a Choose Your Own Adventure story. Well, it's a descriptive use anyway. It's a descriptive trademark. So how are you going to refer to a branching decision story without saying it's like a Choose Your Own Adventure novel?
Yeah, I mean, did people refer to the Fallout games as Choose Your Own Adventure video games? I mean, a lot of examples of branching decision game and other genres, so it seems like a fairly typical descriptive element.
Well, yeah, so the functional nature of it and the actual can you make a branching decision book, that I think is without question. And
it feels like a relatively weaker trademark because it feels like a descriptive mark.
Maybe they're just hoping for a quick settlement with Netflix or something, I don't know.